Now, since I've been convinced that it's not a good idea to try and rejuvenate this little baby, because almost packed capacitors, just the beauty of its construction would be ruined by upgrading it to modern parts, and all I'll end up with is a pretty crappy oscilloscope. So yeah, I'm not going to go ahead with that restoration. I was looking forward to doing it because restoring that Astor Mickey radio over there was a satisfying experience. So I was looking forward to getting this thing going again too, but I didn't really consider the damage I would do to its charm and appeal. So yeah, not going ahead with that. But to satisfy my urge to restore some vacuum tube based equipment, I'm going to, and get a crappy oscilloscope as a result, I'm going to work on this one. Which is a Heathkit O-12U. And you can see a bit of family resemblance almost between these two. Both got the similar looking CRT. Colours are not totally dissimilar. The 4 controls based around the CRTs. Handle on top, so yeah, they look like stablemates. And they're from around about that same era. That's early 50s, this is mid to late 50s. So we'll have a quick look at this guy. There are other videos on YouTube of similar things to this. This was Mr. Carlson did a restoration of an O-11, slightly earlier model. I saw this in auction, recognising it from Mr. Carlson's video. I thought, oh, I'll get that. Yeah, that could be fun to restore. And I got it for $10, I thought, till someone piped up saying that his bid was missed, so the auction was restarted, and I ended up paying $40 for it. Bit too much, but oh well. Now there are some differences. This one's from England, whereas I believe the other videos which I'll have links to down below, are all for US models. And one of the most striking differences is the US ones all seem to have a great big glowing bulb down the bottom to power indicator, whereas this has got some knob which looks like it's been retrofitted. Maybe it's a modification. This one also has a B&C input, which the other ones don't have, but that appears to be standard. I'll have to check that in the manual. I've got manuals for this, and I'll put I found a link, a PDF for what appears to be a similar manual, so I'll put a link for that down in the doobly-doo as well. Someone's obviously added an extra bit down here, the tilting bail, because I've also got the graticule. It's just a bit of plastic that sits there, but because the screen is curved, if you're not looking straight on, then the horizontal line doesn't match the curved line that you'll get on the tube if you're not looking straight on. So that's why they put that there, I imagine, so that they don't have to drop their head down to see it straight on. I'm not sure of the value of that graticule. I mean, it's not going to tell you a lot. It's not as if this thing's calibrated. But okay, let's have a look inside. Just before we open it up, this is the manual. There's the graticule, it just sits there. Maybe I'll find a better way of fixing it, but I'm tempted to just leave it out. The manual is a bit ratty, but Gloucester, England, not somewhere in the US. Now, another thing I noticed with the American models shown on YouTube, where they do show the schematic, it's very similar to this. The main difference seems to be, I think all of them had a valve for the high voltage rectifier, whereas this has got a semiconductor. And they also had in here drawn a 100 ohm resistor, which in some cases, at least in some of the cases, wasn't fitted, so maybe it's just not meant to be there. The rest of the circuitry in the American models at quick glance appeared to be the same as this. Also, some of the, like that knob certainly looks like it's not original. These might be these, what are they called? Chicken heads, chicken something. I think they might be original. Perhaps all the others are. Certainly not that one. And I don't know what this is about. And another difference between this and the American models is a very large opening in the back. The American ones only have something about that big. And also it weighs quite a lot. It's much heavier than I thought it would be, just the impression I got from Mr. Carlson's video. But it weighs 12 kilos. So, now it's quite similar inside to the American units on YouTube, except it's even got the socket for the high voltage rectifier, but it's not even in the kit, I would imagine. It's not in the circuit diagram. High voltage connection to the CRT, that's something else I think the other ones, the American ones, don't have. I'm expecting that would be discharged by now. I don't know how long it's been sitting idle, but underneath a few dead engineers. They're the high voltage caps. Well, these ones are rated at 2000, at least they are on the circuit diagram, whereas the American ones also have about 1600 volts. I don't know if they've been replaced, because they're certainly not as big as the ones in the American units. And it looks like someone stuck a fuse holder in there. So, and they look like more modern resistors too. So maybe a bit of work's been done on this back of the CRT. I've never liked in any of them these flying leads everywhere. Don't know why that has to be like that. The TV ribbon. This thing's only good for about a megahertz. So these are phenolic circuit boards, which will be easy to damage when soldering parts, removing and resoldering. So I'm tempted, you can see the rotten condition of the metalwork. I'm tempted to take it all apart, pull the boards right out, and get all the metalwork separated, clean it up, and that just means detaching it, a fair bit of wiring. But hell, I've got the manual. It's still less work than the original construction, so it's viable. Half the weight of this thing is in this cover. It weighs 6 kilos, and that lot there weighs 6. So very heavy duty cover. I guess some of it is to shield the tube from stray magnetic fields that would upset the beam. But you may have noticed when I took it off at first that there was some shmoo here. It doesn't look like there's any puddles of it inside, so perhaps it's external. But if it did come from internally, you can see it lines up with the transformer, so maybe there was some tar or pitch or something on that has leaked out. I don't know if that's the original transformer, but yeah, so not sure where that's coming from. There also seems to be a bit of munge on the bottom of the PCB there. There's some gunge on there. I'm not sure where that's come from. Although it does seem to, perhaps it came from that electrolytic, the can one that's on the other side there. It's almost as if it's trailing out of there, so perhaps that electrolytic is the source. But I don't think that explains the stuff on the case. Now, taking a look, a closer look at there's what it should look like. So indeed it did have a big pilot light like the American models have. So that hole has been used for this add-on, and apart from the 4 knobs around the CRT, it seems like all the other knobs aren't original either. Although these ones don't look completely out of place, even the chicken head. This tag strip is new as well, and it's got a transistor, a couple of diodes, trim pot. I'm not sure if these 2 big resistors are involved, but they're certainly new. And it picks up filament voltage and connects to the ground side, goes to one end of this switch which has been added. A whole bunch of resistors, 9 positions, and the other end comes from this circuitry here. And the pole in the centre goes out to the calibration output, which used to provide 1 volt peak to peak. So it looks like it's an attempt at calibrating this thing in some way by being able to select maybe anything from 5 or 6 volts down to millivolts to get an idea of what your vertical deflection is. The modifications that I've found are the switch here and the tag strip with the circuitry associated with that. These 2 resistors have been added, or they're a replacement for something. I don't think they're associated with that though. There's this fuse arrangement that's been added. These capacitors, they look quite old, but they're nothing like as big as the ones shown in the manual or in the other videos about devices like this, so I'm a bit suspicious of those, though they do look old. Maybe they were an alternative type that could be used in the original kit. I don't know. This passivated steel is very yuck. Pulling it all apart, I don't know, maybe there's some chemical process that can clean that up. I shall investigate. There's a couple of other mods I can see. There's on the back PCB there's a couple of new power resistors as well. Not much else looks new up here. Now, although the circuit shows a diode here for the high voltage, it does have the socket, and it's got 2 diodes sitting across it. But yeah, maybe this thing did originally have the valve as the high voltage rectifier, and these 2 diodes have been added subsequently. Yeah, all in all, a pretty grubby little thing. It's just nowhere near as nice as that little Kossor. Is it worth the effort? Maybe. I'll clean it up a bit. Mainly replacing a lot of capacitors. Is it worth the trouble? Don't know. Because as I said, all I ended up with is a really crappy oscilloscope, good for about 1 megahertz. And there are other things that are much more deserving of the effort that would be required. I'll put that on the back burner for a while. Not sure what to do with it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Not as nice as I thought it would be. But yeah, if you did, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.